what is electricity, how electricity works, and current vs voltage difference. As we always know that everything in the universe is just made up of atom. Even though atom is very small, we have to use it to explain the core concept of electricity. Atom is made up of a nucleus, and the nucleus is composed of protons and the neutrons. Also, they have electrons that are orbiting around the what? Around the nucleus. Protons are positively charged and the electrons are negatively charged, while neutrons have no charge. If atom has one proton, it's a hydrogen, and if atom has 6 protons, it means it is carbon. So protons act as the atomic number of the atom, and they used to determine the kind of atom. For the neutral atom, the number of protons and electrons are equal. But having the positively charged atom, it means that the number of protons is higher than the number of electrons. And vice versa is true. If the number of electrons is higher than the number of protons, means the number is negative, the atom is negatively charged. Remember, like charges repel each other, and like charges they attract each other. The electrons in the shells are held by the nuclear force from the nucleus. In the shell, first shell can possess 2 electrons, the second shells can possess 8 electrons, while the third shell can possess 18 electrons, and so on. As the distance between the positive and the negative increases, there is low force, but as the distance decreases, there is high force of attraction between them. So the first shell experiences high force of attraction to the nucleus. It's near to the nucleus. Also, this force decreases as you move outer to the outermost shell. The electrons in the outermost shell are known as the valence electrons, and they become easier to be removed away by the energy. Due to the large number of atoms, electrons are jumping from one atom to another. As they jump from one atom to another is where now electricity is being created. As we know that they charge the particles, as they move, they have electric field. That electric field, once it's moving from one position to another, is where now electricity is being now created. We know that copper has, if it has one electron that is revolving around the outermost shell, and the silver have one electron that revolve around the shell, these are known as conductors, as they have these electrons that can move from one atom to another. And some materials have no free electrons that are jumping from one atom to another, as they have been held tightly by the nucleus. These are known as insulators. They cannot receive these electrons from one atom, so these remain as insulators like plastic and the glass. Now let's look at the simple circuits that consist of a battery. The battery is just the external force that have excess electrons on one side and having less electrons on another side. It has insulators that separate the electrons, the parts having excess electrons and the part that have less electrons. So these electrons are just moving in the atoms from one atom to another, like copper atom. That's why we mostly like to use the copper wire, since it has free moving electrons. Now the main function of this battery is to push these electrons from one atom to another. So these electrons are just moving in the same direction, and once the battery is being disconnected, it means that this atom will remain stationary at its position. So this battery is to push those electrons until you connect again the battery. Then the electrons will start moving, and the electrons that are moving out of the battery are the same as the number of electrons that are entering the battery. Remember that the electrons can flow in the closed circuit. If the circuit is open, the electrons cannot flow. If we press a bulb, the bulb starts glowing. The bulb has tungsten that have got some resistance even though it is a conductor. So if we connect it, it means that the flow of electron start moving around that tungsten. However, it will experience some resistance, but as they force to move, they start hitting that tungsten and the bulb start growing. But let's look on the word current. What is current? By starting, if you see a wire, there is a trillions of electrons that are just passing within that wire. If we locate within one point, we can calculate the number of electrons that are just flowing at that point per second. And that's what's known as current. And that is ampere. So 1 ampere is just equal to 1 coulombs. That is equal to 62 billions of electrons per second. So the ammeter just measures the number of electrons that are flowing per second. That's why we say the ammeter are readings in ampere. Now, how do we get these electrons just being moving in the first rate? Now is where the function of the battery comes. This battery now just to push those electrons to move at the first rate. As we know that the battery have got one side being rich in electrons and the other side having less electron. Now what is the electric potential difference? Let's see. We have these positive and negative charges being held together by electric force. We have to do extra work to remove these charges away from the positive charges. So here we have low potential energy at the positive charges and high potential energy at that negative electrons. If at the low positive potential we have 2 voltage and at the higher positive potential we have 3.5 voltage, it means that the potential difference between these is 1.5. Now charges are always trying to lower the potential difference between them. So for example, in the battery of 1.5 voltage, we said that potential difference is 1.5. So if we connect a copper wire, it means that the electron will start moving from high positive potential to low positive potential. And these electrons, as they move, the potential difference is being lowered. And once the potential difference is balanced and being equal to 0, means that now the battery is drained out. As the voltage increases, that the force to push the electrons, also the current that's flowing along the wire increases. If the voltage, also we say there is less current that will be flowing in the wire. So if you connect 100 voltage, we say that the push of electrons will be high and the electrons will be vibrating higher and they will cause damage or fire on that wire. That's why we prefer to use the wire of appropriate size. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, to like and comment. Your support is very important for us to do more and to do best. Thank you.